What is up, everybody? It's Dynamic here, and welcome back to another MLW video. Now, today we're going to be talking about Tommy Coughlin III, going through his career and talking about really what happened to lead him to the point where he's at today, where he's barely playing while managing his own team and not really finding much success in modern day MLW. But before we get to that, I just want to say, guys, I know I haven't posted in about like 8 or 9 days, and I don't really have a super valid excuse for that. I have been pretty busy, and I was sick earlier this week, but still probably should have gotten a video out. But anyways, I'm coming back with this one, so I hope y'all enjoy. So make sure to subscribe. We are on the road to like 1,500 subs. If we could get there by the end of the year, man, that'd be awesome. But yeah, make sure to subscribe, and I hope y'all enjoy the video. Now, before we get into the long history of TC3, I want to talk about Tommy Coughlin III in 2025. Because while I predicted a bounce-back season from the way he played in 2024, we didn't necessarily get that. In 6 games played, he's only had 15 at-bats, and he's gotten stricken out 13 times in those 15 at-bats, which is not good to say the least. He doesn't have a hit on the year. He has an OBP of 250, and he doesn't pitch anymore. So Tommy is statistically probably the worst player in the league. And I say that with all due respect to Tommy. I know everything that he's done for the league. I love the Pipe It Up podcast. I'm a big Tommy fan. That's why I predicted a comeback from him. But the truth is that this roster is just too good for Tommy Coughlin to find any burn, and he knows it because he's the one in control of putting himself out there. This team has Trey Flood, he's batting 270. They have Brendan Jorgensen, who's the worst hitter on the team, batting almost 180. Preston Colm, he's hit a couple home runs, batting 222. And then you got the MVP candidate in Jordan Robles. So this is a team that is full of a ton of talent. They're 9-6 after it all. They're going to make the playoffs. They could even be a one-seeded team. So this is a good team that they have going here. And the most important thing about this team is they show up, right? And that's why Tommy Coughlin really hasn't found much playing time, because this team shows up. In the first game, Preston Colm wasn't there, or the first series, but then after that, they've had every single player go to every single series, minus Tommy for a couple. So I think a good way to start for the history of TC3 is just completely skipping the era from 2009 to 2016, because not only is that before the Meadows era, which I don't really look at, but there was only 2 teams in the league, so you can't deny the fact that Tommy has had longevity all throughout his career. He's one of the greatest to ever do it, but we kind of already know that. So let's talk about the Meadows era. In 2017, Tommy Coughlin did one of the craziest things we've ever seen. He was down in the series 2-0 up against the Coastal Cobras and was able to come back to win the series 3-2. He was pitching insane in this World Series. This was in 2017, and he was also a dog the entire year, so they were able to win the World Series. And at this point, Tommy Coughlin looked like one of the best players in the league. Then there's 2018, where TC3 wasn't really able to get it done on the championship side of things, but he batted a .392 average and hit 6 home runs with 24 RBIs. He was really dominant in this year specifically because a lot of guys would kind of intentionally walk him. If you look back at the 2018 season, there's a lot of players that would just walk TC3, so the fact that he had that good of a batting average is pretty insane to me, and was able to also knock in obviously 6 home runs, which is just insane. Then there comes 2019 for the Midwest Mallards. This team has a lot of players on it, but Tommy Coughlin once again dominates. He has a batting average of 400, 20 RBIs, 4 home runs, an OBP of 542, and no, they were not able to win the championship. They just didn't really have the tools to do so. So now for Tommy Coughlin, 2020 and 2021 kind of blend into each other, because there was some perennial success in 2020 that just didn't really lead into 2021 the way I'm sure Tommy wanted it to. 2020 was the first year that Tommy wasn't really improving a ton. He did bat in the low 300s, which is still excellent. He was still an all-star. And then in 2021, his batting average was 250, OBP of 386, slugging percentage of 426. He was still kind of pitching, which obviously he was pretty decent at, but Tommy wasn't one of the best pitchers in the league anymore, and This team in 2021 went 4-11. The Mallards were now bad. They went from a championship contending team to then losing a bunch of players, having a roster of Bonham, Davenport, and Caden Irwin alongside Tommy Coughlin. And as you guys know, especially if you put that roster today, they would not win many games. So they did go 4-11, and Tommy was still the best player on this team. So 2022 comes by, and Tommy Coughlin as a manager was able to do one of his greatest things as a manager, which was draft Jordan Robles with the number 1 overall pick, because obviously this team was going through some struggles, so they were awarded the number 1 overall pick. Jordan Robles was given Rookie of the Year that year. He was dominant. He batted .393, pitched extremely well. Tommy Coughlin also fed off of his success, having a bounce-back season. He batted .296, OBP of .513. Still, his pitching wasn't amazing, but it definitely improved from the year before. So 2023 is where things kind of get weird for Tommy Coughlin, and not really in a bad way, but I'm just left here scratching my head wondering where it all went wrong, because Tommy Coughlin still batted .229 this season, which once again for his career wasn't the best, but especially at this time that's pretty good considering that Jordan Robles batted .359 and Caden Irwin outbatted him with .250 is definitely something to look at. But Tommy Coughlin still had a pretty high OBP, and yes, once again, wasn't as good as Caden Irwin or Jordan Robles, but he was a very solid player on this team. They were able to go 10-5. The one part of Tommy's game that kind of continued over from next year, because in 2022 he had a 5 ERA, was the pitching, which, if you were wondering, he didn't pitch at all this season because of how bad he did the year prior. He didn't even step foot on the mound. So now into more modern times of 2024 and the 2025 season, Tommy Coughlin III really struggled in 2024. He batted .057, had an OBP of 195, slugging percentage of 143, and still he was not pitching. He did play in 12 games, but it just really wasn't enough for Tommy Coughlin. I think this was a huge shot to his confidence, and the fact that he actually kind of had a better season this year than he is having currently is something to look at, because I think Tommy Coughlin's confidence at this point is just shot. I don't really know what it was that lowered him to this level. He got struck out 25 times in 2024. He's gotten struck out less in 2025, but that's because he's had less at-bats. I don't really know what it is with Tommy. I wish I could figure it out. If you guys have any ideas of what's been happening to Tommy when it comes to wiffle ball in 2025, please leave them down below in the comments. So, to conclude this video, I kind of don't really know what to say, other than I really hope that Tommy Coughlin III does not retire after this year, because there have been a lot of rumors about that, especially with Ty Fresnick now joining the Pipe It Up podcast. That's something that a lot of people are saying could end up happening, but I really hope it doesn't. I really do wish Tommy Coughlin the best. I think, especially in this league, sometimes it just doesn't work out super well at the end. I don't think it's over for Tommy Coughlin. I think he's got one more season in him. I hope he does, because he's one of those guys where I really believe that he does have a chance to come back. Maybe not be an all-star, but be a solid contributor to this team. So, in my opinion, that's where I'm at with him. But I completely understand if there have been people that have just given up on Tommy Coughlin III because he hasn't shown much promise up to this point. So, Tommy, if you are watching this video, I am really wishing you the best of luck. Thank y'all for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram for more MLW posts, MLW content. I'll see y'all in a couple days with the next upload. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.